So yeah, welcome again. Now, as we have started with the evolution chapter yesterday, so now let's continue with it, right? So whenever we start a thing, obviously it has to be completed too. So yeah, let's start. So what we have learned yesterday was about the origin of universe, origin of earth, origin of life, and that all things. So I hope that you have got all the points in that. So let's recall what actually we have learned yesterday. So we're talking about the evolution. It's the process when we're studying from the primitive life to the new life, and evolutionary biology is actually the study of that evolution. An evolution term was given by Herbert Spencer. As we knew that in this chapter we will be getting many terms. So yes, our first person yesterday was Charles Darwin, but sorry, I didn't notice this thing that Herbert Spencer is the first man who gave the term evolution. Obviously, the major contribution was of Charles Darwin, but okay, Herbert Spencer को भी हमें थोड़ी respect देनी चाहिए, right? So yeah, they're doing that. So evolution term is the Herbert Spencer. Is given by Herbert Spencer. He's the first person. Remember him, okay? And evolution, we know it's a slow, gradual, continuous, and irreversible process, right? And on top of the evolution, it was best explained by Charles Robert Darwin. He's the second person with us, and he told the descent with modification, branching, descent, and all. And then we have the origin of universe, the origin of earth, origin of life, and origin of the unicellular, the non-cellular, then the cellular, then the eukaryotes, like the jawless fishes, invertebrates, and all. So origin of universe, it was actually due to the Big Bang theory, which is given by Abel Amateur. He's the third person now. See how many persons are directly and indirectly continuously coming in this chapter, right? We have to remember it. The first one was our Herbert Spencer, as we write. The second one was the Charles Darwin, who best explained the evolution, and the third one is Abel Amateur, who gave the Big Bang theory about the origin of universe. Okay, so we have HSDAL. Okay, so next with a small density 20 BYA nebula was formed, and then the rocky planets were formed, and the gaseous planets were formed. The origin of universe was 20 billion years ago, and the origin of Earth was 4.5 billion years ago. While talking about the origin of life, it was 4 billion years ago, and talking about the origin of the non-cellular, 3 billion years ago, origin of the cellular, 2 billion years ago, and like this all the process goes. So primitive Earth, what all features it had? So we have learned about the HLNVRR. So what is that? High temperature, lightning, then the no atmosphere, volcanic eruptions, reducing atmosphere, and also the radiations present at the primitive Earth. Obviously, we can imagine that too also, right? That how high would be the temperature after the origin of universe. It was such much big blast, right? So the temperature would be obviously so high, and the sun, that is a radiating ball, obviously would have sent radiations. Volcanic eruptions happen due to high temperature. These all are imaginable, and I hope that you get it too, right? So yeah, let's start with the next. According to special creation, 4,000 years old is our Earth. Generally 4.5 PYA is all. ठीक है, मीन्स देखो जो अगर नॉर्मली बात की जाती है ना, हाउ मच वी कंसिडर एज अ थ्योरी और ऑल, सो ऑरिजिन ऑफ अर्थ इज कंसिडर्ड टू 4.5 PYA. पर जब हम लोग यहाँ पे थ्योरीज देखेंगे कि ऑरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ की थ्योरीज देखेंगे, उसके अकॉर्डिंग जो हमारी थ्योरी स्पेशल क्रिएशन है वो हमें क्या बताती है? वो हमें कहती है कि दैट द थ्योरी ऑफ स्पेशल क्रिएशन सेज दैट द अर्थ इज 4,000 years old only. Is it possible that we are now like this, and before 4,000 years ago our earth was originated? Obviously it's unimaginable and impossible too. So means basically we have to remember that origin of universe 20 BYA, origin of the earth 4.5 BYA, origin of life was 4 BYA. Okay, billion years ago. Billion means 4,500 million years ago, and that also so much high, right? So origin of life, we have seen that origin of life we have a theory special creation, theory spontaneous generation, then the biogenesis theory, Brenner-Hallin theory, and cosmic panspermia theory. So for the theory special creation, we have seen it with religious literature, and it's given by Father Suarez. So we're writing F as Father Series gives a theory of special creation. With 4,000 years old, cosmic panspermia, that out of the universe something came and our life originated. And through spontaneous generation means like there is non-living matter and it leads to the generation of the life origin. It's obviously not possible, but yeah, it's written. Biogenesis theory was given by Harvey and Huxley. Huxley, not Huxley. And it says the omnis finum ex ovo or vivo. Oh, sorry for the overacting. Well, I hope that you all are understanding what are points I'm explaining. I hope you have no problem with the language I'm explaining it, and I would be try to be more simple in that way. Okay, so let's continue. And yes, as I have always been motivating us together, as I also need motivation to at the times for this race. So yeah, so it's about that life has much all stuffed up for you, so you don't stuff yourself with unwanted things, otherwise you won't be able to get to that point where the things are waiting for you. I just generally made it. I don't know if it's present anywhere or not, right? Okay, let's come back to topic. Biogenesis theory given by the Harvey and the Huxley. Yeah, continuing with the explanation. Yes, you know about the Opry and Helen theory, and in that he gives two theories. One was chemogeny and another was the biogeny. So Swan-Neck flask experiment, in that we see that pre-sterilized the water server and then when a polluted area enters, the bacteria will be developing, and when the Swan-Neck flask is there, the bacteria can't enter. So there will be no development of bacteria in that. The Francis-Crick experiment, these all things were done. So it was just still that if something is growing, then obviously there must maybe an external agent accompanying that. Not about the chemical evolution on Earth. So when talking about some two books, one was The Origin of Species. It was given by Charles Darwin, and The Origin of Life was given by Opry and Haldane. Biological evolution was preceded by chemical evolution, means that biological evolution was preceded by chemical evolution, means the chemical evolution was succeeded by biological evolution. Okay, means first the chemical evolution came and then the biological evolution came. And according to this, we have to keep in our mind the line that biological evolution is preceded by the chemical evolution. Chemical evolution, atoms, complex organic molecule, macromolecules, C, H, N, O, P, S, and C, etc. Earth's crust, atomic stage, and the molecular stage. So H plus H, H2, and 2 like that. So by this we get to know that the complex organic macromolecules are actually form of atoms. So the atoms will be present in the Earth's crust, and they would be having an atomic stage and then acquire a molecular stage. After that, they form the first inorganic compound that is the NH3 and the H2O, because H2 and N2 are there. So NH3 and H2O, these are the first organic compound. Then metal carbide, metal plus carbide form the metal carbide. Metal carbide plus H2O forms the CH4, and that's the first organic product. The primitive earth, that's why what is it's about the caustic roots only. So after that we see alcohol, aldehyde, ketone, amino acids, nitrogen bases, sugar, fatty acids, all are formed. These are the simple organic compounds, then forming the complex organic compounds like amino acid plus amino acid proteins form sugar plus sugar carbohydrates, fatty acid plus fatty acid lipids, sugar plus N2 plus PO4 nucleotides and nucleic acids. Primitive ocean contained all these things because obviously these all things were taking place in the primitive ocean only, right? So primitive ocean Haldane called this prebiotic soup or dilute soup, hot dilute soup, prebiotic soup or the hot dilute soup. And the first organic compound was NH3 and H2, and first organic compound was CH4. These all things have to be kept in the mind. And yes, when we talk about the people, so we have our first HS. Who is HS? Herbert Spencer, who gave the first evolution term. Then we have Darwin, who gave the explanation of evolution. Then we have Abel Lamater Abel Amateur, who gave the Big Bang Theory. Other we have Father Suresh, theory of special creation. Other we have Harvey and Huxley from the theory of biogenesis, biology theory. Then after that we have Oppenheimer and Holland from the Oppenheimer-Holland theory, and then we have Louis Pasteur, who done the to prove biogenesis is not there and the biogenesis has its proof. And yes, so how many persons we have? Harvey actually 1 2 7, and then Francis already experiment 8, and again Helen came in the pre-viruses, so obviously we consider it also 9. So means at different places they are coming, so we consider it different only. Now talking about the primitive earth, obviously we've seen the conditions. It's a high temperature, no atmosphere, lightning, volcanic eruptions, radiation surrounding, and torrential rain, means continuously rains were taking place. And evidence of chemical evolution when you're talking about, so actually the Urey and Miller experiment was done to perform it, like to prove it. So actually it's like that. Urey and the Miller experiment was done to prove the evidence of the chemical evolution. So obviously if you are wondering that why did I 1 second. So if you're wondering why did I just like this, so just continuing, then we know about that what was actually the experiment. So there is a boiling water H2O vapor, so he just formed the conditions like it was present on the primitive earth, and actually he found the formation of CH4 in that, NH2 and H2O in that, as the NH2 was the first inorganic compound and CH4 was the first organic compound. The gas sample temperature was 800 degrees Celsius as it was present on the earth too, and hot water, cold water was amino acids considered glycine, alanine, and aspartic acid was found actually in his experiment, glycine, alanine, and aspartic acid, GAA. So actually we have found many like that, so it's like that. The hot water and cold water thing that I told was just a condenser. And in some similar other experiments, sugar, nitrogen bases, pigments, fat was passed, and also evidence from the meteorites were also given. Well, talking about the person, so 9 we have called the Holland for why, for calling it prebiotic soup. The all the complex organic compounds are formed. So next we have Urey and Miller experiment, means U and M, for proving the chemical evolution. And then we have evidence for meteorites too, means our 10% are completed. In my copy it's just 4 pages and 10% are completed. As you can know that there are many persons involved in giving this evolution theory, because obviously it's a very big process and it requires some consultation from all to be proved. Well, talking about the next, the biological evolution, the biological composition enhancing solid liquids colloidal. So primitive ocean is there, nucleic acids are formed in that are non-replicating, and inactive protein is there. It is non-enzymatic, means if the nucleic acids are present there, they are non-replicating, and if the inactive protein is also present there, which is non-enzymatic, means both the things are in inactive form. So a suitable metal activator is getting there, so the inactive protein getting attached to it becomes active protein, that is enzymatic, and the nucleic acid, which was non-replicating, becomes replicating, and they both form nucleoprotein, and it gives the first sign of life. It gives the first sign of life. So in this way, the biological evolution came after the chemical evolution, as when the new complex organic compounds were formed, they combined, their nucleic acid combined from the non-replicating, they became replicating of the proteins. When the inactive proteins combined with the active suitable metal activator, they become active proteins. These active proteins and the active nucleic acid form together and form the nucleoprotein. So yeah, it's like that. And the protobions, which is the next topic, and you get the biogenic, which is also known as the biological evolution. So moving forward, we get that protobions, the cluster of macromolecules. So colloidal drop-like, they are to exhibit growth by absorption. They were partially accepted as they were able to maintain constant internal environment. Lipid coat was absent and they could not reproduce. So that's why it can't be considered living. An artificial synthesis operant concentrators, so more resemble with the primitive condition. Sydney Fox, like microsphere proteinoid bodies with lipid coat. So obviously the nucleoprotein gave the first sign of life, and As a lipid coat was present on death when active virus like the structure U button, proton cell, cluster of nuclear proteins surrounded by lipid coat, first living form, origin 3 by BYA, first cell replicating capsule, first non-cellular form of life because it was giant molecule. So these all things about the protobionts and eubionts require more explanation, and I would like to continue it in the next video. Thank you for following me till here, and yes, I hope you have a very good day. Bye bye.